Here I am again, and yes, impromptu. I know that's becoming a trend for me, but I just come on when I feel the urge. I actually wanted to come on a little earlier today, but I had other things I'd obligated myself to get done. Having the day off, it's Martin Luther King holiday today, and I had the day off of work, and I told myself that I would do some gleaning. So I got my closet cleaned out and got rid of some stuff, you know. Feel like, and I believe it's even scientific that our environment is an extension of ourselves. So I don't like a lot of clutter. I like neatness and organization. So my closet was a mess. And so I finally had some time today to get that taken care of. But while doing that, while doing other things today, I went to the grocery store and noticed, kind of the vibe of a lot of people who I ran into or just overheard or just kind of sensed their position with stuff. Groceries are high. The price of groceries are extremely high, and I don't think that wages are increasing to keep up with that momentum. So so I'm seeing people looking at prices and they're discouraged and they're like, what, and they're kind of like, this is ridiculous. And I would agree, because we all know we're in 2023 now, January 2023, and the price of eggs between late last year and now is just astronomical. And I'm really not sure the reason why. I haven't done my research to determine why the food cost for particularly eggs has went up to the extreme that it is, but I'm sure there's some science behind it. In any event, not only that, just stuff in general, is just expensive. And, I'm sitting there going, wow, even me, I'm really having to balance out my my purchases, I'm fine. I'm not like lacking anything, but I have to be more wise when it comes to my purchases. And I'm seeing people, scraping, trying to get the bare minimum, and it just really alerts me to the time that we're living in, right? Signs of the time. It's almost like it's propelling us into what us as believers already know is going to take place. One world government, the famine with certain foods and stuff like that. So it just kind of like puts me in the mind of all that when I see, I'm looking at it from a spiritual perspective. I'm shopping, of course, doing my thing, but then I'm sitting there looking like, I'm not worried about it because I know what I believe, and I trust God that He's going to take care of me even in the midst of whatever's going on in this world, because, I'm not of this world. I'm in it, but not of it. And, I strongly believe that for His elect, we don't see the same judgment as those who choose not to believe. So anyway, saying all that to say, we really have to start putting our lives and priorities into perspective, because at the end of the day, what are we doing? Like, what? It's almost, it puts me in the mind of I think it was Solomon. All is vanity. Like, all is vanity. And I know we all have some vain ways, myself included, but like superficiality, if that's the word, being superficial and just not really looking at life for what it is. And we're human, we're beings, we're here in this world for a reason, and we have to give account for it. We should want to have a good report. It's not going to be perfect, and those of us who are believers, we know that we have the grace of God and we have mercy standing with us, even when we don't measure up to our witness. But at the same time, like, it's crazy, because it's like, okay, I'm seeing these things happen like right before my eyes. We all are, not just me. Pandemics, and then some stuff happening with the food, disease, pestilence, the hearts of men, waxing cold, lovers of themselves more than lovers of God. It's like, okay, let's look at this, man, and let's take an inventory of our decisions and our pursuits in life. What's important? What do, when we close our eyes, when we leave this earth, like, that's it. I mean, we're eternal beings, but after that, like, I would hope that we think beyond here, but we have to give an account for what we did while we were here, how we treated people, our hearts. God judges the heart. He judges the internals, so we can fake it all day, but at the end of the day, just looking at things as they are. And again, I'm nobody to, I'm a witness, but I'm not perfect whatsoever. But I can say that, put God first. That's all I'm saying. It's essential. It's essential. Put God first. Accept him as your eternal Savior. Accept Jesus as your Savior and Lord. And, God will, he'll save you, because at the end, we're going to be in eternity somewhere, and all of this won't even matter. It seems like people would think of that, like, okay, why am I here? Most of us get 70, 80, 90, 100 years to live, right? I'm 40 right now. I don't know when the end is going to be. I really don't. But I know it's going to be at some point, unless the catching away takes place and I don't see death, which would be fabulous. I would hope that happens. But if it doesn't, it's not even that I want to correct things so I can appear or be good or be accepted. I'm already accepted in the beloved. But just the awareness of it, and like, wow, like, it's already as if it's happened, like, to some degree. Of course, I have to deal with the flesh nature, but my mindset is aligned with spiritual things, because I know this is not it. We're in earthen vessels, but my higher self, my spirit man, is what really attunes me to my relationship and my contact with God, and it helps me do his will on this earth, although I be messing up, but it's still, but I have a conscience. You see what I'm saying? A God sense, a God conscience, where I'm only going to go so far with so many things, because that spirit that he put in me will not allow me to perform certain evils. I mean, again, not perfect. I've done some stuff, but what I'm saying is I have a conscience, and like the same way I feel about it here, because I could do anything. We're free moral agents, right? So we can do what we want to do. We can do what we want to do. Of course, we're accountable. We're going to be held accountable, and there's cause and effect. We reap what we sow. There's karma. So many things to consider. If for those of us who believe, whether we believe it or not, that's just the truth. If you look at your life, and then some things come upon us just because it's trial and error without any particular repercussion of our actions. So so I don't know. It just really got me to thinking today, like, we really have to do better. I have to do better at focusing on purpose. Like, what am I put here to do? What does God want me to do? What message does he want me to relay to people, to the world, to young women, to young men, So I know there's something, but I've found that outside things, I'm allowing things outside of myself to keep me distracted from my inner focus. Now, I know there's something great in me, and I know that there's something profound and something very specific that I am meant to do, say, deliver by word or what have you. I have to learn to be more focused and get rid of distractions, because it's preventing me from fulfilling my purpose and perhaps my destiny. And I can't allow that. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, even like we're all on social media, and I'm bad about it. It's very addictive, you know. And I'm not even on all the platforms heavily, just Facebook alone. Lord forbid if I was all into, the Twitter and the, what's the other one? TikTok and Instagram. I have an Instagram account and a TikTok account, but I'm just not I'm hardly ever on there. I don't have time to be on there. And so all of these distractions, and then people and friends, even in relationships, just everything, or the pursuit of relationships, keeping me away from doing what I need to do. So I got to really knuckle down and be like, you know what? Nobody is worth forfeiting my purpose, because I know as soon as I get tuned in to what it is I am meant to do, then God will propel me and give me the anointing to keep moving forward. Something's trying to stop that from happening, and I cannot let it. It's very obvious and it's very apparent, because as soon as I'm focused and I'm willing and I'm ready to really give in to it, and a lot of it is my own reservations or imposter syndrome, But even that, I'm working with it. I'm doing some self work. I'm doing some soul work. I'm getting myself to a place where I am focused on purpose, and not on me, not on you, not on them, but focus on what God has given me to do, what He's put in my heart, that fruit. So to be, planted, to be sowed in this life. And I know that, once I do that, all before me as well. So just a little thought. I guess my message here is to say, consider what's going on. Consider the ways of the world. Consider and compare compare the scriptural context of what we're seeing now in the society, in this world, and just take a objective look at it and say, okay, well, hey, this is kind of aligning with this, so this is telling me a few things. It's giving me confirmation that this is true. So if this is true, then the next thing is true, and then the next step, and then this order. And I heard a pastor say that it's not because a lot of people say, well, they've been saying this or that for years and blah, 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 related to scriptures and, the rapture or catching away or whatever you want to call it. And, the signs of the times and everything. But I believe it was Pastor Creflo Dollar who said that it's the frequency and intensity of it. So that's what we're looking at to really see how much closer we are. So it's one thing that, you see war and rumors of war, or war every year, once a year, once every 5 years. This is happening consistently. It's way more frequent, and it's way more intense, and even just like violence among communities and people, individuals, so it's not like it's getting better. I'm pretty sure if we were to look at some statistics or do some research, that we wouldn't say that the crime is decreasing. Evil is diminishing. No, it's getting worse, and it's only going to continue to get worse. So I mean, even though, like, some of us who are sheltered, and thank God that He keeps us sheltered and keeps, He hides us, so I'm aware of things, but He protects not only my physical but my mind and everything else, from it. So I'm aware I'm in this world again, but not of it. So yeah, I just was really thinking, like, wow, look at the food. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, wow, And see, I'm told that like the one world government is gonna be established where everybody's gonna have the same, at some point, the same wage. Cause like, yeah, cause how can you balance it? It makes sense, because if people can't afford food, right? There's gonna be a famine, and people who are of a wealthier hierarchy, they're in a different tax bracket. They can, the other people will starve. So yeah, it makes sense that they would set something like that in order. But the question is, why is the things the way that they are now? Like, what's happening behind this? Like, what's really happening to cause this? I guess it's what God said, really, when it boils down to. But I mean, just like logically and carnally looking at it from a scientific approach. I mean, I believe what God says, but so it's gonna happen. But like, it would be interesting to know. I just guess I don't. It's not I don't care enough to do the research. I ain't got time to. I might one day, but again, it's keeping me off focus. So if that's part of something I need to do in order to deliver a message, then I will. But right now, it's just not something that I feel I'm led to do. But yeah, we really gotta do better about how we direct our lives, our minds. It's important. It's important. It's absolutely amazing to me too, because I know the spirit in me knows what's about to befall this world, and it's going to be a sad day, a sad story for some of those who just, I don't know, thought that they made themselves and created themselves and are here because it's very concerning, because I know some people personally who seemingly hate the thought of a God or being so high that they are ruled by it. They won't acknowledge him. They won't acknowledge the creator of all creations, because they're evil, really. I mean, we know why. It's scripturally, there's some context to that. I won't get into it. I can't quote it verbatim, but that's what it boils down to. So I'm like, wow. I'm just so thankful that I was convicted. I was chosen before the foundation of the world, and I'm convicted, and I'm convinced that God is God, Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the Lord of hosts, my creator, so like, I'm okay with that. And it's in this fear, and to, I have a fear, but then I have a greater love. So that's the beauty of it. I wish people could see it that way. That's why it's important to have a relationship with God. I mean, now we know from his word that he can, also can be a couple of sides to him. He's a father, so a father will chasten those he loves, and he will bring his wrath on the world and those who offend his children, and so it's a balance though, so it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna cut it off right here because it's time to eat. But I just thought I'd come on here and just share my heart, and hopefully it'll reach someone. Give your life to Jesus before it's too late. He is the way, the only way.